In this video, I'll be talking about the one thing that's killing your testosterone every morning. If you're new here, my name is Alex and I help men reclaim their testosterone righteously. So that being said, let's get into the video. So I'm going to present to you some studies, some references, and just discuss everything when it comes to specifically light, darkness, and things like that. So a lot of men, when they wake up, they sit in darkness, they sit on their phone, they avoid sunlight, they wake up later during the day, they stay up all night, they don't get sunlight. And I'm going to present to you why that's problematic. So when you look at studies, for example, in this particular study, hamsters kept in permanent darkness for a while had their testosterone levels crash to apparently castrate levels, which means to castrate means to lower your testosterone. When they were put back into a natural light cycle, their testosterone came back up to normal. So if you're someone that's constantly sitting in darkness, just changing this part in your life can make a drastic change in your mood, how you feel, your well-being, your testosterone, and things like that. As Ray Peat says, Dr. Ray Peat, darkness is stressful and catabolic. Catabolic means to break down. Anabolism is like testosterone, androgens to build. So darkness is catabolic. For example, in aging people, so people who are older, the morning urine contains nearly all of the calcium lost during the 24-hour period, and mitochondria are especially sensitive to the destructive effects of darkness. One group of experimenters put a tube in their veins of people who were in the sleep experiment, and found that in everyone, every 15 minutes of darkness, the cortisol level increased. So cortisol, a stress hormone, raising to a peak around dawn, and then the sunlight would lower it. They found that if they could go to sleep during the darkness, the rate of cortisol rise was slowed. So the darkness is stressful, increasing all of the stress hormones. So things like aldosterone, parathyroid, hence in elderly, calcium is really high in the morning. And deep sleep is the best defense against it. Hence why animals during winter, they hibernate to protect themselves from darkness. We don't hibernate, but instead we would have higher cortisol, higher stress hormones. This is why people age the most during the winter. And deep sleep is a protection against it. But if you don't have deep sleep, you're going to age quicker. You're going to suffer low testosterone levels, and so on and so forth. And this goes back to biblically how in John 1:4-5, in him was life, and the life was the light of men, and the light shined in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Then spoke Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followed me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life, representing how sunlight, light, is a positive thing versus darkness is a negative thing. So we see that parallel biblically. In this study, Italian researchers took men with low testosterone and nearly doubled their testosterone levels in just 2 weeks by exposing them to 30 minutes of bright light soon after waking up. So, just considering the things that I mentioned just there, this is the same reasons like why when people wake up, the first thing they do is they go on their phone, because when you have high cortisol and stress, because you are stressed out throughout the night, you didn't sleep well, your thyroid hormones are poor. Going on your phone, stimulating yourself, listening to music, going on TikTok is it's an attempt of self-medicating. Same reason why some people may wake up and they have a high heart rate and they have a meal and they feel tired, they want to go back to sleep because the food shut down the stress response. Hence why a lot of people gravitate to intermittent fasting because, oh, but if I eat in the morning, I'm just tired, and they assume that the food is causing that reaction. But they don't realize that it's because they're running on stress hormones. And initially, when you're in a stress state and you introduce something that lowers your stress hormones, you're going to have a period of being kind of neutral. Or even you want to go back to sleep because relaxation, the ability to sleep, requires energy. And stress is a state of lack of energy. That's why you're tense. Your brain is racing. When you look at dead people, they're stiff. They've done experiments when they applied ATP, which is energy, onto dead skin tissue, and it was able to relax. And hence why when you go through a period of darkness and stressors throughout the night and you have a meal in the morning, which gives you energy and relaxes you, you want to relax because you've been tense and now you have a possibility, a chance to, relax. But once you actually fix this and you fix your metabolic rate, fix your thyroid hormones, when you have a meal in the morning and you've had a good sleep, the food should give you energy and drive and motivation for the day. But yeah, there's another one in 1939 tested how UV light affected men with depression. He shined UV light on their chests for 80 to 20 minutes a day over 5 days. This caused a 120 increase in androsterone, which is an androgen, which is anabolic, which is positive for males, a marker linked to testosterone. After stopping, levels slowly dropped over 8 days, but they rose again with more UV light. The takeaway: regular sunlight helps boost and maintain testosterone. Each sunbathing session builds on the last, keeping levels high as long as you stay consistent. So from sunlight, you get vitamin D, which I've made videos on why it's so important. You get light, you get warmth, right? Because coldness and darkness is a stressor. It's important to be in bright light after waking up. That's why you see a lot of like health gurus, when they start their day, they get into sunlight, which is very positive. And all throughout the day, waking up with the sun to get more hours per day of sunlight, which equals summer. So that's the key thing. The more hours of sunlight you're getting, it mimics summer-like environment. If you're waking up at 2-3 p.m. and sun goes down at 8 p.m. during winter, you're cooked essentially. You're getting barely any amount of hours of sunlight. And you can create that environment during summertime, eating PUFAs, nuts, not getting sunlight, being in a caloric deficit, not fueling your body, creating micronutrient deficiencies. And then you wonder why you have low testosterone. So this will keep your testosterone, thyroid, and metabolic rate high. So in an ideal scenario, if you want to implement this, you'd be in direct sunlight throughout the day, throughout the whole morning, day, and evening, while transitioning to in an incandescent light. So all over the house, I have incandescent light or red light, which back in the days would be like fire-like light, which is very protective, relaxing, and things like that. You want to stay away from blue light, so on and so forth. And this will create a very good positive metabolic environment for your body. If you're worried about sunburns, this is caused mostly due to PUFAs and iron. Back in the days, people didn't get sunburned, but now they are. Why? Because their diets are high in PUFAs, iron fortified, which oxidizes in sunlight. So the iron can deposit in your glands, and that's what causes the issues. I've had clients who removed PUFAs from the diet, lower iron, and they don't get issues in sunlight, living in warmer countries like Spain. If you do want to take precaution and use sun blockers, use a natural one rather than a sunscreen that's full of chemicals, which when you're under warmth and you put that on your skin, the pores open up, leaching into your bloodstream, because anything you put on your skin gets absorbed into your bloodstream. Hence why you can take supplements on your skin. You apply it on your skin, it gets absorbed. Same with anything that you put on your skin. So sun blockers that are made out of like saturated fats, coconut oil, tallow, whatever it is. Other things that are protective are aspirin, zinc oxide, caffeine. I wouldn't ingest zinc oxide because it's not bioavailable for you to absorb, but for protection against sunlight, it can be used, and caffeine. So here's a good one there. And another interesting thing is Rapid mentions how bright light stimulates the production of steroids and consumes vitamin A very quickly. So when you're sitting under light, I remember Rapid mentioned how he fell asleep under an incandescent light and he got some acne, because acne is a byproduct of a micronutrient deficiency. It's like when people drink more milk, they get acne, not because of the milk, which in some cases, if they're lactose intolerant and they're feeding the endotoxin and increasing that can be problematic. But in some cases, the acne is caused due to the metabolic increasing effect of the milk. So the need for micronutrients like vitamins and minerals increases, and that deficiency causes the acne. Same with light. The introduction of sunlight, incandescent light into your routine can cause like acne, not because it's bad, but because the consumption of vitamin A, which is a foundational building block to vitamin A, LDL cholesterol, and T3 active thyroid to produce pregnenolone, which is the foundation to testosterone. So when you introduce light, the consumption of vitamin increases because your body is producing more steroids, which is a good thing. So when you do get more sunlight, get vitamin A from liver, retinol, and you'll be good to go, and other micronutrients. But yeah, so the thing that is killing your testosterone every morning is avoiding sunlight, not getting out into the sun. Even if it's cloudy, the sun penetrates through the clouds. So getting that light into your body. If you're inside, using incandescent light, avoiding darkness, avoiding coldness, just introducing this into your lifestyle, getting more sunlight, you'll get more vitamin D, light, and warmth, and this will have a positive effect on your testosterone levels. Hopefully you got some value out of this video, and that being said, peace out.